Labor Day. Labor Day slides onto the calendar every first Monday of September, like a hungover uncle insisting he's fine to drive. It brings the holy trinity of American late summer rituals: charred meat, discount furniture, and everyone pretending the school year isn't already waiting behind the bushes with a stopwatch. Still beneath the flags, burgers, and big box store blood sport lurks something elder and rougher, a history never forged in committee meetings or polite civic spirit, but in the chaotic collision of liberty, labor, and raw industrial arrogance. Because despite the hallmark glaze poured over it, Labor Day wasn't born gently. It didn't drift down on a breeze of bipartisan goodwill like a patriotic snowflake. It scrabbled its way into existence during the late 19th century, when industrial capitalism barreled forward like a speeding locomotive. Worker protections were a rumor, and anyone who complained about being treated like a replaceable carbon-based wrench was told to stop whining and get back to the factory floor. The story of Labor Day is a wild American case study in what happens when free people, actual citizens, not cogs, use voluntary association to stand up to concentrated power. Civilization's version of workers stepping forward, corporations fighting back, and the government rolling in with a fire hose shouting, "Everybody calm down," before slapping a holiday on the books to make the yelling stop. Back in 1882, the Central Labor Union and the Knights of Labor threw a parade. 10,000 workers storming through New York City, banners flying, grills smoking, and not a single apology for being the hands that built the railroads, the newspapers, and the endless avalanche of stamped metal widgets. It was not so much a parade as a declaration. Ordinary people refusing to evaporate into the machinery, demanding to be seen before the country's memory could quietly erase them. Naturally, two men claim credit because nothing in America is born without at least one fight over who invented it. Matthew McGuire growled from the machinist trenches that it was his idea. Peter J. McGuire, labor strategist extraordinaire, insisted he was the mastermind. In true American fashion, both were just right enough that nobody could conclusively tell either one to sit down. Then, the states jumped aboard. Oregon legalized Labor Day in 1887, beating everyone to the punch because Oregon has a pathological need to start trends the rest of the country reluctantly copies 15 years later. It was grassroots, organic, bottom-up, everything the political theorists swear America is supposed to be. And then came 1894, the year the federal government reminded everyone just how lousy it could be at conflict resolution. The Pullman strike delivered a perfect storm. A company slicing wages while keeping housing rents sky high. Workers revolting. The American Railway Union backing them with justifiable anger. And the national rail system seizing up like an overcooked engine. President Grover Cleveland, whose political instincts ping-ponged between paranoid sheriff and exhausted accountant, sent in federal troops. Violence followed. The Constitution's promise of peaceful grievance redress limped off to the corner and smoked a cigarette. Cue Washington damage control. 2 weeks later, Congress rushed through a federal holiday. September was explicitly chosen to avoid May Day and its suspicious odor of Marxist incense. It was the legislative equivalent of buying flowers after a screaming match. American labor took that September holiday and made it its own. Less about revolution, more about recognition. Europe chose May 1st for global worker struggle. America picked a weekend celebrating workers by letting them barbecue, take a day off, or blow half a paycheck at JCPenney. Peak cultural divergence. Over the next century, the holiday mutated. Parades and speeches flowed into cookouts, school countdowns, and football games. The AFL tried to staple on a Labor Sunday in 1909 for moral reflection, but Americans just shrugged, grabbed the potato salad, and returned to the business of leisure. Protest faded towards static, drowned by the hiss of grills and the boom of kickoff. By the time retail giants finished chewing on Labor Day, all that was left were bones for sale. A holiday meant to honor workers became a weekend when millions clocked in early to restock sale racks, while customers trampled each other for a discounted leaf blower. If irony had mass, Labor Day weekend would have already collapsed into a black hole. But none of that makes the holiday meaningless. The core truth survives beneath the piranha swarm of coupons. The fight for dignity at work remains vital, driven by citizens, not federal gifts. Every right workers enjoy, hour caps, safety measures, bargaining protections, was carved out by ordinary people organizing themselves into something more substantial than their individual vulnerability. The government, for its part, alternates between overreacting, underreacting, and quietly avoiding reacting until someone else forces its hand. And here we are, more than a century later, still struggling with the same questions. What counts as fair work in a world of billion-dollar corporations and algorithmic bosses? Where does economic liberty end and exploitation begin? How much power should the state have in refereeing those fights? And how much should be left to voluntary association, negotiation, and good old democratic pressure? Labor Day matters because those questions never resolve themselves and never will. The human struggle for dignity doesn't follow a neat ideological script. It pulses, shifts, and resurfaces in every Amazon warehouse, every barista meeting, every gig worker fight over pay that somehow evaporates between the app and the bank account. The holiday forces us to examine the American experiment without filters, excuses, or fireworks drowning out the complex parts. And if that reflection happens while you're holding a burger, so be it. Civic contemplation pairs nicely with grilled meat, and the Republic has always run on a mixture of idealism and grease. Labor Day still matters, because the fight to be treated as a human being still matters, because liberty without dignity is a hollow slogan, and because in a country founded on the radical idea that individuals are ends in themselves, not tools, not instruments, not gears in a machine, the story of labor is the story of America trying, failing, arguing, renegotiating, and trying again. So celebrate it, question it, reclaim it, burn the burgers, wear the white pants, ignore the sales, or dive straight into them. Don't forget why the day exists. A free people earned it. A free people have to keep earning it.